Hello, I'm Fred Schneider, and you're tuned in to the Weekly Report, a look at news and insight related to programs and services provided by departments of the City of Kansas City, Missouri. City Manager Troy Schulte presented the new proposed fiscal year budget to Mayor Sly James on Tuesday, January 15th. Interested residents may view the budget, complete with line item detail, on the city's new open data catalog website, kcmo.data.org, which launched the same day the budget was presented. The city celebrated the release of its updated Bike KC map and the progress it has made toward becoming a bicycle-friendly community at a Bike KC event this week. The new bike map includes 352 lane miles of signed bike routes, 34 lane miles of on-street bike facilities, and 65 miles of constructed trails. Owners of outdoor advertising signs located in Kansas City, Missouri, must register their signs with the city's Planning and Development Department by April 8, 2013. An outdoor advertising sign is considered any sign that directs attention to a business, service, or product that is conducted, offered, or sold off the premises from where the sign is located. Online registration is available at kcmo.org/planning. Now let's check in with some of our city departments for information and insight.
I like to take this opportunity to communicate with the citizens of Kansas City and surrounding areas. Well, first of all, I'd like to say I appreciate the support. I've been chief for 15 months, and it's been a great experience. And again, I feel blessed for the opportunity to serve this great community. There's three things that I like to talk about just briefly. We have hotspot policing. Hopefully you've heard about it, and that was identified by crime patterns over a 3-year period. And I feel we're successful in addressing those crime patterns with that hotspot policing. I feel confident that we're in the right places because a lot of the crimes that we identified happen in those hotspot areas, and we have the right resources in those areas now. We have KC Nova, and that's Kansas City No Violence Alliance, and that really kicked off this month, and I feel that'll be beneficial to the residents of Kansas City also. We have Area Command, and that's just a principle where we have some specialized resources that move about in areas of the city. And I just got a report last night where they've gotten several firearms off the street, and they just started. But I want to go back to the hotspot policing. That was identified as a result of 3 years worth of data analysis where the majority of our homicides occurred and the majority of our aggravated assaults occurred, and we have resources in those areas without moving those resources from other patrol areas. So that's been effective. Also, the Area Command, that's where we put certain resources, and those resources can go anywhere in the city, and they work closely with KC Nova, the Kansas City No Violence Alliance. The huge piece to all of this is community involvement. We have to get the public involved, and you know what? It's been working. Our homicide clearance rates may not show that because sometimes they give us information about a vehicle, a suspect, or other information, and it might not be enough to get the case filed, but it might give us enough to keep us on the path and identifying a target and do some other things in order to apprehend that subject or those subjects. So again, I want to thank all the residents of Kansas City. I ask that you continue to work with us. We have a great team, and I like us to look at, we're all a team. The police department, the prosecutor's office, the business owners, the civic groups out there, we're all in this together, and I guarantee you that we'll continue to work together with everyone in order to make this city a lot safer. Thank you.
Have you ever submitted a request for city services but didn't know how to check the status of the request? The 311 call center offers 2 easy ways to check on a request. You can either look it up online with the request number or address by using the online request form at kcmo.org/action. Click on Check the Status of your request.
Thank you for calling the 311 Action Center. This is Kima. May I have your name, please?
Or you can call 311. A customer service specialist can search the case by name, request number, date reported, or location. The specialist can also add any updated information to the case and notify the department of the update. To watch additional videos about 311 or other city services, check the FYI KC webpage at www.kcmo.org/FYIKC. Remember, the 311 call center is here to handle your requests.
In colder months, as people begin to spend more time indoors, we tend to see an increase in illnesses like cold and flu. So far this year, we've already begun to see a rapid increase in the number of flu reports.
The difference between colds and flu is with influenza, it's a very rapid onset, and you'll have body aches and great fatigue. With colds, you'll typically have a runny nose, you may have a fever, and a productive cough. Flu is very contagious, and to prevent it, the best way is to protect yourself with the flu vaccine. It takes about 2 weeks for that to kick in fully, and the other way to protect yourself is good hand washing.
The flu season can start as early as September or October and can last into April or even May. Everyone should get their flu shot every year, and don't forget to wash your hands thoroughly and often. For more information on health department services and programs, visit our website, www.kcmo.org/health.
I'm Kevin Lapointe, the City Forester with the City of Kansas City, Missouri. And we're out here today on this beautiful day because we're out to talk about trees. In Kansas City, we've inherited a wonderful heritage of trees throughout this city. We have a great canopy of trees and an urban forest that we're proud of. And so we want to talk today about the emerald ash borer. You may hear E.A.B, the acronym, being thrown around in the future. And we just want to talk about that to give an awareness to people of what emerald ash borer is, what it can do, and what we can do in response to it. Emerald ash borer came into the country about 2002 in the Great Lakes states around Michigan, and it's spread throughout 17 states now in the northern part of the country and is now in Missouri as well. And we discovered it this summer in August within the city limits of Kansas City. And what emerald ash borer is, it's a small green beetle that was imported from Asia, came into the country. Because it has no natural predators in our country, it's just expanded and exploded in now 17 states. It destroys only ash trees, so we only have to worry about ash trees. But it's destroyed millions of trees in the northern states already. And we have, just in the Kansas City city limits, about 400,000 ash trees that potentially could be killed. And now at this point in time, the federal government, USDA, and the state has quarantined both Platte and Clay counties. We have not found it in Jackson County at this point. But that's important because the way E.A.B spreads within the country, the way it spreads the easiest is through the transportation of firewood. And that's probably how it got here to begin with. So the message today is, first of all, what we can do as citizens and as residents is be very careful about transporting firewood of any kind. In the quarantine areas, you cannot transport any hardwood firewood at this time, not just ash. Even though, again, E.A.B, as the name says, only attacks ash trees. So what can we do about E.A.B now that we found it in Kansas City, both as a municipality, as a city, and as residents? Well, the first thing is to educate ourselves. We don't need to panic, we need to plan at this point in time. So get onto the E.A.B websites, the national site, www.emeraldashborer.info, and then the state website, which is www.eab.missouri.edu. And those websites have just all you need to know about emerald ash borer. Once we learn everything we can about E.A.B, then we need to start looking and assessing our own properties. Do you have ash trees on your property? And you can call a lot of the local tree companies will come over and look at your trees and let you know what you have, and they don't charge for those services typically, and they can also assess the health of your trees for you. If you're trying to find out if you have an ash tree on your property, you can take a look at the leaves. Ash trees are set up where you have a single leaf, has 5 to 9 leaflets. They look like individual leaves, but they're all attached to the same leaf petiole. The leaves are usually opposite except for the terminal leaf at the end. And just like the leaves themselves, if you look, they're set up opposite one another, where you can see the new buds that have come on for next spring. And that's the way they're set on the tree, on the branches. The leaves are opposite from one another, 5 to 9 leaflets on one leaf petiole. The leaves themselves tend to take on a spear-shaped kind of appearance, and they have sometimes either a smooth, or you can see on this one, a wavy or serrated edge to them. And that's how you can identify whether you have an ash tree. There are some similar trees, so if you're not sure, you can always ask a local arborist. They sometimes will come and just inspect your trees freely at no charge, and they can tell you for sure if you have an ash tree. The city is here to help, and we're going to do everything we can to keep the information, good information, flowing to our citizens so that we can make informed decisions. We're planning right now as I speak on northern dump sites that we can use once trees begin to die that have not been treated or cannot be treated, and we have to remove them, both for our city trees, city street trees, as well as trees on your property. And we're going to try to make that available for the citizens, just like we do the local dump sites now. If you have an ash tree, don't go out and just remove it immediately, especially if that's not warranted. But think about where on your property can you plant a replacement tree, and begin today. That's the most important thing. Even as we transition over the next 5 or 10 years, as emerald ash borer works its way through the city, as the population may explode at some point and then finally decline, we need to be planning now on trees that we can be putting on our properties to replace the ash trees. So right now at this time, stay informed, learn what you can, visit the websites, be watching Channel 2, be looking for our news releases and our media, visit our websites, and learn everything you can about E.A.B.
Looking ahead, in observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday on Monday, January 21st, curbside trash and recycling collection will be delayed one day, and city offices, including the 311 Action Center, will be closed. Residents who usually have Monday collection will receive this service Tuesday, January 22nd. Residents who usually have Friday collection will receive the service Saturday, January 26th. The city will host a series of citywide public hearings regarding the proposed 2013-14 budget next month. These hearings will take place at the Mohart Center on Saturday, February 2nd from 9 to 11 a.m., at Northland Neighborhoods on Saturday, February 9th from 9 to 11 a.m., and at the Police Department's South Patrol Division on Saturday, February 23rd from 9 to 11 a.m. For more information about the proposed budget, please visit kcmo.data.org. For more information about this or any of today's stories, please log on to kcmo.org, scroll to the bottom right-hand corner, and click on the Weekly Report for links. That does it for this edition of the Weekly Report. I'm Fred Schneider. Have a great week.